يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا واسع الكرم.
As we know, there is a major pilgrimage, the Hajj, which is fard upon those who are able to do so. And then there is a lesser pilgrimage called the Umrah, which can be done anytime. But the Hajj, ashhurun ma'lumat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the Hajj is done in the known months, in the month of Dhul Hijjah, and the known days. There are specific days which are appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the performance of the Hajj. فَمَنْ فَرَضَ فِيهِنَّ الْحَجَّ. So for whoever the Hajj is fard upon, and last week I touched upon these conditions of those people who have to go for Hajj, which conditions apply and which conditions make it obligatory upon you. So if those conditions are applying to you and it is obligatory for you to perform the Hajj, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is outlining the framework of the Hajj, and He is giving us the guidance of how it will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with it. فَمَنْ فَرَضَ فِيهِنَّ الْحَجَّ فَلَا رَفَثَ. There is no, once you're in the state of Hajj, when you're in the state of Ihram, and you're on the pilgrimage, فَلَا رَفَث. There is no relationships between the spouse. Right? Between your spousal relationships, the intimate relationship, you cannot have that during the Hajj, especially when you're in the state of Ihram. فَلَا رَفَثْ وَلَا فُسُوقَ. And there is no disobedience or fisq in the state of when you're going for Hajj. وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. And there is no argumentation in the Hajj. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is outlining these things for us, that when we go on the blessed journey of Hajj, some of us who have already left, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept their Hajj. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make their journey easy and make it a blessed journey, and Hajjun Mabrur, a Hajj which is accepted and a Hajj which is free from any vices or any defects or any form of these things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is prohibiting us to do on the Hajj. So there shouldn't be any intimate relation with the spouse, there shouldn't be any type of disobedience or foul play or any argumentation in the Hajj. وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمُ اللَّهُ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whatever khair or whatever good that you do on this journey, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it. He is all aware of this. وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, take provision for your journey. This is why it is actually sunnah to take some provision when you go for the Hajj journey. These days provision is all given for you, but in that time, the people would take their provision with them, take some food and drink, and they would go on this journey which would be months on end. In those times, now just a plane, you fly in and that's where you're there. And usually with the package that they give you, everything is provided, from the food to the drink to everything, alhamdulillah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, take provision with you, فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. But know that indeed the best provision that you can take on this journey is taqwallah. Is consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That every step of this journey, you're aware of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored me to go on this journey of Hajj. Where am I going? These sacred places, which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and those Anbiya wal Mursaleen before him treaded upon these blessed places. Their blessed qudum, their blessed steps were on these places, and I, alhamdulillah, being nothing that I am being honored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to follow in their footsteps, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Subhanallah. How honored are we to be in the Haramain Sharifin? So consciously being aware of Allah, having taqwa, that we're always trying to perform the acts that we're supposed to be performing on the journey, and trying to abstain from those things that would break our Hajj or nullify our Hajj or decrease the value of our Hajj. وَاتَّقُونِ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the end of this verse, He says, and fear me, have taqwa of me, O people of intellect, people who have intellect. So the best provision that we can take on this journey is taqwallah, is the love of Allah and the love of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, every step of the way of this blessed journey. So I mentioned some of the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam pertaining to this blessed journey of Hajj. As Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the person who performs the Hajj, right, and in this Hajj he does not do any of these things that nullify the Hajj, as mentioned in the verse that I just recited. that when the person is complete, or when the person has completed that Hajj, he or she returns as if they were just born from the womb of their mother, free from any sins. Your slate is completely clean. Subhanallah. And we see that the Prophet ﷺ was asked by some of the Sahaba. I believe it was Hazrat Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, the great Sahabi of Rasulullah ﷺ, and he asked Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, Ayyul amali afdal? Which action is the best, Ya Rasulullah? Because the Sahaba were concerned, they were haris upon performing the best thing, and they would ask Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, which is the action which draws us most closer to you and your Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that we can perform that action and we can become muqarrab, we can become close to Allah and His blessed Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They did not waste any time. So they would ask Rasulullah, Ayyul imani afdal, Ayyul amali ahabbu ila Allah ta'ala, Ayyul amali afdal. So Sayyidina Abdul Rahman bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ayyul amali afdal, Ya Rasulullah, which action is the best action, Ya Rasulullah? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam first said, he said three things. The first thing he said was Imanun billahi wa rasulih, that to have faith in Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Imanun billahi wa rasulih. This is the best thing, the first thing that he mentioned. The second thing that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned is al-jihadu fi sabilillah, that to struggle in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-jihad, not only fighting in the way of Allah, but generally meaning to struggle in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jihad literally means struggling, whether that be struggling financially, giving in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether that be struggling with our own self to obey Allah and to stay away from sinning, whether that be in the context of defending self-defense, when we have to go to war for the sake of Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, as the Sahaba did. This encompasses the different meanings of jihad. And the third thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Messenger ﷺ mentioned was Hajjun Mabrur. That Hajjun Mabrur, Hajj was the Hajj pilgrimage, and Mabrur means a pilgrimage which is free from any defects or free from any vices. Hajjun Mabrur, an accepted pilgrimage, right? That is a pilgrimage free from any vices and defects. So this is a great action. And in another hadith, Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha, al-Mu'mineen, she asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya Rasulullah, nara al-jihada afdal al-amal, that we find that jihad is the best deed. So why don't we women go for jihad? Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the best form of jihad for you women, Muslim women, is Hajjun Mabrur. The best form of jihad for women in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Hajjun Mabrur, is to go and partake on this pilgrimage of Hajj and try to make it as pure as possible, that free from vices and defects and any disobedience, that inshallah it is an accepted pilgrimage. This is the jihad, this is struggling for the women of Islam in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah. And the Prophet ﷺ was asked about the Hajj, that if someone cannot do the Hajj and they have not performed it, but now they're unable to, for example, they don't have the physical ability, they might be old, they might be, have a certain disability, they cannot go and perform the Hajj. But they want to perform the Hajj, they want to fulfill their fard, and they have the financial means, they can give someone, and can someone do it on their behalf? The Prophet ﷺ was asked, he said, yes, you can do it on their behalf. Even if that person is still living, you can still do it on their behalf, as long as you have performed your fard first. So for example, if I have done my Hajj already, my fard Hajj, my first Hajj, which is obligatory upon me, and now I have a grandfather or a grandmother who cannot partake on this journey because it's physically taxing on people, right? It's not that easy. There are tests. So I can perform this Hajj because I've already done my fard. I can perform this Hajj on behalf of my grandfather or grandmother or any person who is unable to do so. So the Prophet ﷺ has allowed this. Now I also wanted to speak about the ziyarah of Rasulullah ﷺ. I consider that every action in Islam has a mi'raj, or has a high point. And I would say the high point of the Hajj is the ziyarah of the Prophet ﷺ. It's as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is purifying you. He is preparing you through the journey of the Hajj, purifying you from the sins. Now your Hajj is finished and you are as if you were born from the womb of the mother. And now you are presented to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Rasulullah, I am here. Labbayka ya Rasulullah. Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya sayyidi ya Rasulullah. And you present yourself at the Rawdah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and you present your utmost humble and loving salams and salutations upon our leader and our master and our guide to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Sayyiduna Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So for me, I think that this is the mi'raj of the Hajj, that this is the uruj, the high point of the Hajj journey. And the reason why I wanted to mention this is because there is a misconception among certain people within the ummah, which must be clear, that they say that the ziyarah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is not part of the Hajj, and that you can just perform the Hajj and leave the ziyarah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from such a thought or idea. And how can you perform the Hajj and go to the Haramain and go to Al-Makkah Al-Mukarramah, the place where the Prophet ﷺ was born, and then leave that city and leave that country and not having visited Rasulullah ﷺ in Medina Al-Munawwara? And there is a hadith about this where the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man hajja wa lam yazurni faqad jafani." That the person who has performed the Hajj and did not visit me, faqad jafani, he has insulted me, he has done injustice to me, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. How can we be ummati of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have such a conception? And I'm not saying anybody specific, this is out there, this is a thought out there, and it is my responsibility, and it is our responsibility to confront and to clarify this misconception. Being an ummati of Rasul, how can you not want to visit Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? He is our lifeline sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He is our leader sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We received the Quran from Allah but through the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We received our faith through the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We received La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah through the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We received knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We would not know who Allah is if it was not declared by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. All these 99 names, we think that they just came from the sky to us. No, they were revealed on the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he told us who Allah is. Wallahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wal-Malik al-Quddus, and so forth and so forth. This is the ma'rifah that Allah bestowed upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he dispensed this knowledge to the creation and to the ummah. So how can we not visit Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? When the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has also said, the one who visits me after I have passed from this world, it is as if that person is visiting me in my life. Allahu Akbar. This is an ishara, a great indication to Hayatul Nabi and the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that when you go and when we give salam and we offer salam to Rasulullah, he returns the greeting of salam. The Prophet ﷺ returns our greeting of salam. If we say Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah, the Prophet ﷺ says Wa alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah ya fulan ibn fulan. Allahu Akbar. You do not want this? You do not want a portion of that salam? Where Allah's messenger is, one is for us to give salam, but when Allah's messenger is giving you salam, and when this is a dua from him to you, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he's saying, peace be upon you, and the dua of Rasulullah is never rejected. Imagine if you have this dua, you have the salam of Rasulullah.
والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم يا ربي بالمصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا واسع